Also, I like that you called them trackpads. That checks out. Trackpads indeed. 'Tis the year 271, which means the fortress is 266 years old. Almost said 76 years old. 266 years old. I think we're in the summer. Can't remember. Can't remember where we left off yesterday. Early winter. All right. Early winter. Year 271. What were we doing? Right. So yesterday we made quite a bit of progress, actually. Yesterday we dug down, 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 down. You know, all that you can do, Darren, when you're using the trackpad, or not the trackpad, the trackball, is just use it, and then you're just humming, they see me rolling, they hate it. Anyway. So this is the first cavern layer that we've been aware of for a while, which I'm starting to think now is actually the second cavern layer, and there's another one above it that I somehow missed. But anyway, we dug down, and then pretty quickly collided with this, which is a very, very deep cavern layer. However, the cool thing about this very, very deep cavern layer is we also encountered... If we go a little lower and a little lower and even a little more lower and even a little more lower, it goes all the way down to here. Now, looky here. Got a nice there lava hole. So this is real fun. So this fortress is very old, and we only dug down to this cavern layer today. So obviously there's already dead things everywhere. There's like dead Crundles and Gorlaks and stuff all over the place. There's a forgotten beast that I think is still alive in the upper one that is just a ball of fire, and it's just sitting in the water and just making steam go everywhere, which is wonderful. What is this, an underground canyon? Kind of looks like that, yeah. So we gotta do some fun stuff with this. So something that I'm planning on doing, and something that I'm working on, because we're trying to keep this fortress alive for 1,000 years. So what's life without an ambitious project or 5? This is a glass tube that is gonna go all the way up to the top of my fortress, and I want to fill it up with lava. So what I need to do is I need to dig it down. And I want to get it down to, maybe roughly, I don't know, here-ish, so we can easily connect to this. Now, we're going to need to connect it to the bottom of a reservoir. Ambitious, you bet. Well, I mean, 1,000 years is pretty ambitious, too, so. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up a lower lava, what's the word I'm thinking of here? A lower portion for lava. So I'm trying to think of the word here. Cistern? Storage plate? Anyway, I want to make a big lava flow down here. But we actually have quite a far distance before the actual lava sea, which is all the way down here. And also, I still have 1,000 years. So, lava silo, lava artwork, I don't know. But I want to do it maybe 2 Z levels beneath that previous one. Lava asylum. It's a place to storage the lava. But yeah, so that's something that I want to do. And then I want to figure out how we're going to pump the lava. So I need to figure out a straight line from the lowest spot all the way up through all of this shit, and then up to the top of the fort, which is all the way up here, right? So that I can then pour the lava in. And, do all sorts of other fun stuff. So that's we got our work cut out for us now. Still, population of the fortress has gone up a bit, actually. I think we are technically, actual citizens are at 34 still, or again, which is good. We got back up to 34. But we have 51 dwarves, which means we actually have enough dwarves right now that, giants, dragons, mega creatures can spawn, which is fun. We have a bunch of merchants in the fort. Reservoir, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. I don't know, my brain no worky today. But named dwarves that we have in the fortress right now are Spitalier, Bastet, Queveneer, Alien Slayer, Free, Evil Trick, Side Scoop, Caveman Crafting, Murphys II, Haz-Hazah, Nosferatu, Voidlock, Costlord, Peter, Sarlacc, Bluewater, Seeker, Taurus II, Kade, Knowles, Ghost, Tiny Goliath, Trees, Aquafunkalistic Booty Whap, Defcom, Corvius Suede, Patchwork Massive, Whitcode, Clay, Goffer, LaFonda, VimML, Max, Jack Nurix, Stone, Abe Xendi, Belug, The Scoid, Simplex, and of course, Pilot at the top. So we got, you know, another 700 years more before this fortress is done. Actually, holy shit, we're over 9,000 dead. Memes. We got more than I need to pour more coffee for this to do a toast because we got over 9,000 dead. That's got to mean something cool, right? Not really, but over 9,000. What? 9,000? I do actually need more coffee though. I'll have a peek in a second after I'm done pouring my coffee. Hey, Side Scoop, you're not dead, miraculously. I mean, specifically, it's 9,027. I love how quickly 9,000 becomes not even remotely a thing. What did the scouter say about his power level? Anyway, yo, that does look cool. I would have bought that animal. I'm not gonna lie. I would have bought that and given that to my mom. That's cool looking. Bit old-timey, but nice looking. Looks like the sort of picture that you'd look at it long enough and then you'd realize it's haunted. But yeah, so currently, you know, my dwarves are pondering comparative anatomy and disease classification, which is wonderful. Got a few newish books recently. Also, got a unicorn bone battle axe artifact the other day, as well as a couple more hatch covers, which is also lovely. But yeah, no, we're just hanging out. You're going to pretty much have to set aside a vertical stack like glass tube. Well, we already did that, but it's not vertical. It's this. These are all tombs with dwarves in them. And then that's the history of our mayors and royalty. That's my king's tomb. But and then these are just statues because I had a lot of lead. So rather than, you know, making goblets or other things, I just made a lot of statues. So I've got a lot of lead statues. We've got like 1,300 lead statues or something. Yeah. It's a thing, shall we say. It is indeed a thing. Jesus H. Christ. I mean, right next to that, we've also got the little maze. It's a little maze, complete with the ballista firing range, because I had a mayor for a while that really liked ballistas. I now have a king that really likes ballistas, but we don't really play with that too much. As well as a dead Cyclops in the middle. Where's the Minotaur? And, of course, a Minotaur for aesthetic purposes, which is currently, like, completely locked in, because for some reason they try and release it whenever I let them in there. Yeah, also there's a Forgotten Beast over here, which is terrifying, by the way. An enormous quadruped composed of clear glass. It has wings and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its webs. I ain't ever gonna fucking fight that thing. We had it set up for a while there where I could, like, right here, it could go up into this spot and spray webs at pigs. We'd only do it about every 100 years, and it just kind of became more of a pain in the dick than actually, like, productive in any way, so we just kind of stopped. But yeah, it lives there. But yeah, this is Longdeath. If anybody wants a dwarf, because we don't get migrants, and the only way I can get new dwarves when they're not making babies is by bringing in merchant workers. Most of these are middle-aged, like they're in their late 90s, early 100s. If anybody wants a dwarf, just give me a shout. I can give you a merchant. Issue with merchants, though, is because they can't join the military. If they want to practice a martial art, they just slowly go insane, and there's actually nothing I can do about it. So they may die an early death or get expelled. But yeah, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Also, we had to crush Forgotten Beast in this. Can you be a merchie? Sure. How many animals have there been before you? Can you remember? Animal? You would love an insane merchant. An insane, specifically, merchant. Just looking at moods over here. 96? I'll give that one to animal. Well, let's go with animal IV. Actually, I think it's 3. I think it's animal the third. Animal the third is blissful after sleeping in a fantastic bedroom and blissful after remembering dining in a legendary dining room, but was annoyed when caught in the snowstorm. Was uneasy after being able to acquire something and is an ardent worshiper of Anol, who I can't remember. Which one's Anol? Oh, right, the cool god. Anol is a deity of the ignited creation, most often takes the form of a female great horned owl and is associated with mountains. No, Catan equals settlers. Come on, please get it right. Can you have a dwarf? Absolutely stupid. He has a broad body, made broader still by no shortage of surrounding lard. His eyebrows are high. His broad, short ears are flattened, and his nose is extremely narrow. His long sideburns are neatly combed, and his very long mustache is neatly combed. His very long beard is arranged in double braids, and his very long hair is neatly combed. His head is somewhat short, and his hair is ecru mixed with gray. His skin is sandy taupe. He personally sees friendship as important and he personally sees friendship as important, respects the law, and doesn't see the attainment of knowledge as important, and of course dreams of creating a great work of art. He never fails to seek out the most stressful and even dangerous situations and never feels discouraged. He generally doesn't think before acting, and he is very slow to anger. He is very polite and observes the appropriate rules of decorum and likes to brawl. He prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible and is quick to form negative views about things. Generally is quite confident in his abilities when undertaking specific ventures and prefers to present himself modestly. He is a friendly individual and generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity. He is stubborn and he winks during conversations. He needs alcohol to get through the working day. Also, animal. Wait, was that right there, or was that a different dwarf? I think you might have. No, you don't. Okay. Yeah, animal just has friends, no significant others. So Kumil can be Hex Ranch. I think I spelled that right. He feels fondness remembering making a friend and is interested in a fine table. You worship the Spear of Incineration, which is most often takes the form of a female dwarf and is associated with valor, war, and fortresses. And you're 110 years old, born on the 25th of Galan in the year 161. He is corpulent, his sideburns are clean-shaven, and his very long mustache is arranged in grand double braids. His very long beard is neatly combed, and his short hair is neatly combed. His somewhat short ears are flattened, and his hair is gray, mixed with ecru. His skin is sandy taupe, and his eyes are cobalt. He is incredibly tough and agile, and likes... he likes aluminum and lavender jade. I don't know why I read that. When possible, you prefer to consume pomegranate wine, and you hate oysters. Well, that's fine. We never have oysters, and we also have pomegranate wine, so win-win. He personally has a deep respect for animals, plants, and the natural world. Greatly respects individuals who persevere through their trials and labors, and doesn't particularly respect commerce. Dreams of mastering a skill, finds humor in most situations, and is confident under pressure. And he is greatly pleased by his own looks and accomplishments, dislikes helping others, and is quite polite, often feels envious of others, and he prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible, doesn't mind wearing something special now and again, and is quick to form negative views about things, has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications, and often acts with compassion, tends to assume the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass, and occasionally overindulges, likes to take it easy, and scratches his head when he's nervous. Needs alcohol to get through the working day. All right, so now I need to do jobs on those two because I don't think they have jobs. Because I don't generally give jobs to my merchants by default. I take a little bit to actually give them work. Animal doesn't have anything. Jesus. We need to get you employed. Not strand extraction just yet. You know, we'll give you carpenter. I need another carpenter. All right. And hex wrench, wherever you went. There you are. Same thing. Why do I keep hitting strand extraction? Let's also give you leather working. We'll give you animal training. I don't have enough animal trainers. And what did you dream of? Creating a great work of art, I think? Oh, mastering a skill. Well, let's give you masonry. So true, just like real life. Yeah, I'm sorry, animal. All right, if you remember correctly, it's been a while since you... Yeah, you did have a dwarf named after you a while ago, stupid, and they did die. So, here, you can have Solon. Ooh. You want a not depressed dwarf, or are you okay with the depressed dwarf? I didn't check mood of this one. Here, I'll see if I can find you a not depressed dwarf. Because merchants are kind of difficult sometimes. There's one. Whoopsies, wrong button. She feels euphoric due to inebriation, but was frustrated after a lack of decent meals. Well, that's unfortunate. 90 years old, born on the 27th of Opal in the year 181, married to Haz Huzzah. Would you look at that? You're the lovely wife of Haz Huzzah. And she is a worshiper of the fuchsia. She has a broad body, made broader still by no shortage of surrounding lard. I'm very sorry for calling you fat. Her eyebrows are incredibly high, her hair is dry, her long hair is neatly combed, and her eyelashes are quite long. Her nose bridge is somewhat concave, and her ears have small lobes. Her head is somewhat short, her hair is ecru with flecks of gray, and her skin is sandy taupe. And her eyes, of course, are cobalt. She hates worms and wants to consume sunshine and urad beans. Bitch, you got expensive tastes. Christ. I've been trying to get sunshine from the elves since I first started trading with them, and they've never brought any. One day. She personally values decorum, dignity, and proper behavior. Values eloquence and believes it is important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining. Doesn't really see the point of working hard and doesn't see cooperation as valuable. Dreams of raising a family. Never feels discouraged, and she is prone to hatreds. Often develops negative feelings. She has a strong sense of duty and is very quick to anger. Doesn't go out of her way to help others and tends to be swayed by the emotions of others. Generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity, and she is not particularly curious about the world. When she's nervous, she sometimes cracks her knuckles, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day. Anybody else need a dwarf? That's not what sunshine is. Sunshine is a drink made out of a specific type of berry. Oh, hey, Costlord's throwing a tantrum again. Again. Great. Where did he go? There you are. Tantruming, are we? How do you become a dwarf? By asking me nicely. All they know is trade wares and craft. I mean, here's the thing. We're still doing a lot of mining. A lot of like half my dwarves have mining skill. The problem is we have to then dispose of all of the boulders. Still there, apparently. At least according to the screen, is still alive and still in the place where I kicked you out to. Brander. But yeah, sunshine is brewed from sunberries. But yeah, prismatic flux. If you would like a dwarf, prismatic flux is now you. You are 103 years old, born on the 13th of Malachite in the year 168. I mean, literally all you need to do is ask me nicely. You don't need to be subbed or anything. If I locked it behind subs, I would only have like a third of my dwarves named. I'm not, like, I'm famous, right? Duh, obviously. Not really. But I'm not that famous, so why would I lock it behind a paywall? That seems rude. He is 103 years old, born on the 13th of Malachite in the year 168. His sideburns are clean shaven, and his very long mustache is neatly combed. His very long beard is arranged in double braids, and his medium length hair is neatly combed. His slightly flattened ears are somewhat short, and his hair is ecru mixed with gray. His skin is sandy taupe, and his eyes are cobalt. He personally finds the quest for knowledge to be of the very highest value and dreams of mastering a skill. He's always tense and jittery. after a strengthening. How is that a strengthening? He is always has a sense of duty and feels envious of others. He personally prefers to present himself modestly and does not often feel lustful, is curious and eager to learn, and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence. And he has an active sense of humor and tends to be passive in discussions, quick to anger, and has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He tends to consider what others think of him, and he has a greedy streak. He likes to take it easy and occasionally overindulges, is somewhat quarrelsome, and is bothered by this since he values friendship. Generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity and needs alcohol to get through the working day. All right, so I'm actually going to give mining to and crafts. I'm also going to give you stone detailing and the basic healthcare tasks that everybody gets. But I'm going to go to your occupations. You're going to be one of my scholars. Scholars. Won't change your color because you're still a merchant. But now you can go study. Yeah, you've been having a rough time of it, unfortunately, Side Scoop. Regardless, though, round of beers for the new dwarves. Cheers, everybody. Fulfilling the dream of acquiring knowledge. Hopefully, yeah. Why is Aquafunkalistic Booty Wap in prison? That's not good. How long are you in prison for? Oh. Right. So, this dwarf was put in prison a while ago and I broke him out early. I think they finally figured out that this dwarf was let out early. Whoops. I didn't even miss a production order. That's an old issue. Might need to let him out early again. Tuition? Is that money? Money doesn't exist in Dwarf World. Just remember that. Money doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is Craftsdwarf ship, specifically of the highest quality. Specifically of the highest quality. I mean, yes. They're coins. You don't pay for anything with them. They're coins. I mean, they still hoard socks. They just, don't hoard them as much now. They're a little bit more polite about their hoarding. So yeah, I think we'll just let the dwarves chill until winter ends. Then after winter ends, we will, from there, start digging. So I'm kind of curious to see if anybody dies, and I kind of want them to be all up at the surface, because the last time somebody died when we were doing a lot of digging and they were somewhere in the fortress, it took us about 6 months to find the body. I'm not even joking. We hit late summer before we found the body. So I think it's because this fort's just too big. Like, there's too many, like, weird, windy pathways, especially in the underground regions in the fortress, where it's just like, oh, yeah, no, like, it's genuinely hard to find a body if we lose it. So, I every winter I'm gonna try and keep them up at the top. No, no. If it's on the first, I've never built a fortress big enough that dwarves starve while walking. And this one is not that big. No. Also, there's food left lying around. No. If it's on the first of spring, it's old age. That's the majority of the deaths that we get in this fortress is they die because they die of old age. They die of natural deaths anytime between the age of 150 and 169 because 170 is the oldest they can possibly be. But they only will die of old age on the first of spring. So because we are in midwinter, I'm just going to kind of let them relax until the end of winter, at which point then we will start digging again. I'm worried about this dwarf. I'm worried about that dwarf. I might just let them out again. I might need to do that. When it comes out, it'll be out tomorrow, Prismatic. But it'll be out tomorrow, roughly 20-something hours after the stream itself. So it'll probably premiere at around 1 p.m. I'll probably put it up a couple hours earlier. Because is Twitch really going to check? I don't think so. So yeah, it'll probably go up at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Which means that, you know, at least it'll be on a Friday if it's late for you. So go get some sleep. I'll try and keep your dwarf alive. Guilty. That's a bad mood. Humiliated and guilty. Those are bad. It's bad times. We'll keep an eye on that dwarf. Gosh darn it. Just remember, Tier 2 subscribers and Patreon supporters have access to this, which is the equivalent of gosh darn it. Which, by the way, streamers gotta pay bills sometimes. Conduct meeting? Who are you having a meeting with? Having a meeting with someone who's just like having a spaz attack somewhere? No, you're going. Okay. Gorlak is fighting with a giant bat. My bet's on the giant bat. And Costlord is throwing another tantrum. I hope you break something so we can put you back in prison. Costlord is one of those merchants. And I don't actually think I can expel him. Oh, no, I can. I should just expel you. Yeah, I think we're just going to expel Costlord. You are too difficult to handle. Not a big fan of you. We're just going to wait for you to finish tantruming, and then you'll leave the fort, hopefully. I kind of wish that visitors to fortresses who commit crimes could still be put in prison. Because I had a problem a while ago in this fortress where I had a outpost, or not an outpost liaison, a human who would... What? Why'd you climb over that wall? You know, you could just, like, walk around it, right? I had a human in the fortress who was the royal treasurer, who eventually tantrumed and went berserk and got mauled to death by my dwarves. But it'd be really neat if, like, criminals could, you know, go to prison in your fort. That could be kind of cool. It's like the humans send a diplomat. Yo, where's our royal treasurer? In our prison. Why is he in the prison? Killed 5 people. Oh. Yeah, he did definitely have diplomatic immunity, unfortunately. Didn't matter how bad times got. He had diplomatic immunity. Also, let's see how Hex Wrench is doing. It's great respect for the natural world. Just hanging out on a table. It's like a pretty good time. Very interested near a fine table. Made of glass, in fact. But yeah, I'm looking forward to there being lava all the way up to the base of this. Does anybody know if windows are destroyed by lava? Because I actually don't know. Or gem windows specifically, because I have no idea. I also don't know about glass windows. I've never, like, tested it. Still breathing, Murphys. Still breathing. I just got an email from my landlord, which I had to skim. Still breathing for sure. Where'd you go? Murphist. There he is. Yeah, still breathing. Seems to be doing pretty well, actually. You were interested, remembering learning about stonecrafting. But you were lonely after being away from family, which is very sad because, you know, you don't have any family. And you're also not married. So, you know, relatable, I guess. You don't have any family and you're not married, so you're lonely because you have no family. 5% here. 5%. Although this isn't about my rent going up. This is about the window washers that, like, did a trash job that we weren't told about. So half the windows in the apartment building were open and people got water in their units. Because my building, so my building's an owner's building. So like 80% of the units are private owners and only a very small portion of them are renting. And the ones that are renting are rented out by private owners. So it's a strata building. So strata knew, but they didn't tell anybody. It's a 5-floor building. It's a pretty small building. But they didn't tell anybody that they were going to get the windows cleaned. It's fucking hot out. Everybody's got air conditioners set up and like bug screens and windows open and stuff, right? So half the units got water in them. So they're like, cool. So windows should be okay. I think well, I mean, those aren't glass. Those are gem windows. The thing is, I'm trying to decide if I want to fill the lava all the way up to this level or just this level. I think I might just go to like around here, like 2Z levels down. Because do I really need lava all the way up to here? And then there's also the question of, are we going to throw stuff in there? Because I do have this beautiful little grate right there made out of electrum for the temple, which is this platform in here. Question is, do I want to remove that and start chucking stuff in there? It's like, I know that glass is lava safe, and everything made out of glass is lava safe. Question is, gems. Anyway, I guess I can test it. So that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to test. To do it in a test. See how that goes. Kavish is still on duty. Yep. We still get Kavish. For the humans 8th? I mean, that's about right. I mean, humans live, what, 70 to 80 years, and dwarves live up to 170. So, I mean, seems about mathematically safe. Guess, even. That's approximately the number of humans we would get. So, I don't know. That math checks out for me. But, you know, we'll get to say hi to them again. I mean, honestly, like, after playing Longdeath for, you know, almost 700 hours, still not depressed, hanging in there. After playing Longdeath for like 700 hours, the thing that I want the most, I just want more lines of dialogue for my outpost liaisons. Like, we have this lovely news screen, right? Over here. This lovely news screen. You know, like, you'd think they could give us a few lines of dialogue about how, oh, the armies are still marching on Spider Desert and from Machine Hollow, and, you know, the humans got a new mayor at this town, and this thing happened. It's like, I don't know. How does DF calculate old age deaths? I don't know what the exact math is, but anytime between age 100, yes, small world, age 150 and age 169, they can die. I don't know what the percentage is. Also, in regards to that new Steam console, don't buy the new Steam console. Just buy this. I'm just saying. Just buy this. Gem windows are kind of special constructions, though, so try it for fun. I mean, you know, just dump some lava on it in the basement and see what happens, right, Jokeload? Just don't, you know, test it first. But, you know, this whole fort is all about just, like, taking our time and chilling and getting stuff done. This fort feels anxious. I don't blame you. One of my unicorns got stung by a bee, poor thing. But, yeah, no, most of this fortress is just, you know, taking time and enjoying stuff. This dwarf really likes being a tavern keeper, by the way. He used to always be angry and upset with everything, and now is just a tavern keeper and is overjoyed on an average day. Look into what analog NT does. I think it's the analog. It's not NT. It's the other one. But analog basically has that, but not with more sound chips. Yeah, I don't know. I just want a Playdate because it's got so many, like, just as a game development nerd, it's like all of the people I idolize who have made cool shit in the past. And many developers for games I've played in the past are making games for the Playdate. So, yeah, I want it just because of that, and because they're all micro games, and they're not, and outside of, like, you know, because I play video games for my job, right? I don't really want to be playing a lot of games when I'm not working, and I don't play a lot of games when I'm not working. So if I'm going to play games when I'm not working, it has to be something small with a short play period. Well, hold on. Let me see what I can find you. Well, not necessarily something where I don't want to learn a bunch of mechanics, but there you go. Check out those range of products. If you want to play a new Super Nintendo or a new NES or a new Game Boy, they got all those things for you. Although the Game Boy one, like, hasn't shipped for a while. The king wants 3 more ballista arrows, and the mayor wants another crown. Already on the site? Yeah, there you go. I mean, the thing with analog, though, is it's actual hardware. Like, they've basically clean room rebuilt the chips for all of the consoles. The issue with it is you need to use, like, cartridges, right? The thing is, you can use a flash cart. So just buy that and a flash cart. You're good to go, basically. The actual problem with them, though, is sometimes it's kind of hard to get their stuff because it doesn't always stay in stock. Like this fucking thing, I kind of want one of these because I still have a bunch of Game Boy and Game Boy Color carts just like in my drawer, and in Game Boy Advance SP that doesn't really work, and this thing's got a really fucking nice screen. I've been kind of tempted once, if these things ever become like not available, but if they go up for pre-order and I have the money in my pocket and it's there, I might just buy it. Also, better fucking screen in this thing than the Steam console. Just saying. Like, I don't know. But yeah, also, you know, it's fucking Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and Atari Lynx, and Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. Also, it's a synthesizer, so, you know, just like a lot of shit you can do with that. I don't know. It's like this is kind of goes back to the reason why I'm like not totally sure why the Steam console exists. Like all of those things have a market, and I understand why they exist. Doesn't make sense to me why Steam is making a console. There we go, getting those done. Also, for those of you who do watch my YouTube channel, when I buy a Playdate, you bet your ass I'm going to do an unboxing and record some camera-based footage of the games, of me playing them, and put them up on the YouTube channel for one reason, just so I can tax expense it. Because I want one, but it's still going to be 170 US. I mean, a RetroPie is probably like the actually financially responsible way of doing all of that stuff, right? But I guess it kind of comes back to, do you want an actual console? You know? Like, I've thought about doing a RetroPie, but I don't have a fucking TV in my house. And I don't really want a TV in my house or in my apartment. So it's like, if I had a TV, a RetroPie would make a degree of sense. But I don't. I mean, I do, but it's in storage, and I really don't want it in my apartment again. When I watch TV, it's on my phone or on my little tablet that I use sometimes, and I don't know. I don't want to have a TV again. I don't like having a TV. And like, if I'm at my computer, why run a RetroPie when I could just install Dolphin or, you know, MAME? Or, you know, whatever. Like, there's so many ways to just run those games. All right, spring's arrived. Oh, yeah, my TV used to put out a lot of heat, too. A lot of heat. I don't know. I don't like having a TV. I like my record player. I like my cassette deck. I like my amplifier. I like my radio. TV's me. I stare at enough screens. I don't need to stare at more screens. Dead? Nah, you're too young to die. Not even joking. You're too young to die. You might die, but not this way. Not of natural causes, anyway. The annual tribute from Bastida Smack has arrived. Hello, annual tributars. I actually have to be signed into Twitter today because that's how I talk to Tarn before we chat. I should probably keep that signed in. Yeah, I don't know. The thing that I'm really curious to see about that Steam console more than anything, and this is irrelevant to whether or not I get one, is if they actually support it. Because anybody here remember Steam machines? Seems to hold up so far? Huh. I guess the problem with gem windows is tantruming dwarves can break them. And if I have, like, lava up against gem windows in my tavern and someone decides to punch out a window, might get warm real fast. Fun, I guess. Not a bad one at all. Why, well, I mean, there's a silver battle axe in there that's pretty, you know, mortal, I guess. Is that what that name means? Tantrum problem solves itself. I guess it's a self-fulfilling problem, but see, I much prefer to put them in prison and try and rehabilitate them, right? Because for me, dwarves are very valuable in this fortress because we don't get migrants. So keeping dwarves alive is like the majority of the gameplay, which is funny because the way most people play Dwarf Fortress in most forts, it's like, fuck it, they're disposable, right? But like, no. No, I need to keep these little twats alive, whether I like it or not, so... So we are going to start moving this down and to the left. So like southwest. So that I dodge that giant underground canyon. Because that's so fucking deep. And I ain't building glass supports through that fucking thing. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. Mayor wants another crown. Okay, boss. You know, it was kind of funny. Yesterday, I had Alexandra from Kit Fox in my chat. We were, you know, talking about dwarfy things, and I mentioned that someone submitted a question to the question bucket for Tarn today, which I'm not going to ask, and I deleted it, which is, are you going to announce the release date on this stream? And her response to that was just, God, I fucking hope not. So we're not ready. So I don't think that's going to happen. We were still optimistic about this year. At the beginning of this year. I don't think we're optimistic about this year now. So I think I know how I'm going to do this. I think I know. You know, I'm going to just say right now, if Tarn Adams made a beer, probably be better than a certain other Adams beer. I'll bet you that like fucking Voodoo Ranger or somebody would do a Dwarf Fortress branded ale. Although Voodoo Ranger isn't very good, so no one would actually want that. At least I've always been disappointed with their IPAs, so I don't know. So chat, anybody got any plans for the weekend? I think I'm hanging out with a streamer friend of mine tomorrow. I think after the video goes live and after I'm done with all that stuff. I think I'm actually doing that. Alcoholism is legal in public parks here now. So we're going to go hang out in a park and drink. Because what else are you going to do after last year? Of house sitting? Oh, that sounds fun. It's been a long... Last time I house sat, I had a mild concussion and whiplash from passing out and smacking my head on a toilet. Good times. Due to heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion and probably just also general exhaustion. It was while I was homeless, so I was sleeping in a friend's attic and in the middle of summer, and it wasn't cool in there, to put it simply. Which definitely doesn't mean... I mean... That's always fun. Exposing people to drugs that they've never had the chance to try before is always a good time. I need to get a 10K run in. Jeez, that's ambitious for the weekend, Darren. It's ambitious. I think that my streams this weekend are probably like Saturday and Sunday streams, probably going to be on the shortish side and probably just a lot of roguelikes. I know that there's a Jupiter Hell update on Monday, so Sunday will probably just be a Jupiter Hell stream, and Saturday I'll probably do more Caves of Cud. I've been on a bit of a Cud roll recently, so sometimes you just gotta play some Cud, you know. So I'm kind of feeling the Cud right now. Okay, so how the heck do I make this go down? I guess what I gotta do is I gotta do this. Gotta go over 1. I make this go down by screaming at the guy, "It do go down!" Put another piece in there. And the elves have arrived to trade. And I caught Murphys instead of the elves. That's fine, though. I mean, for what it's worth, that fence looks a lot nicer now that it's, you know, gone. I think I asked you this previously, Darren, but did you do you have any plans for what to put there in place of it, or is it just gonna be lawn? Well, new Odd Realm devlog. No new patch, but just a le devlog. Always looking good. Did I screw this up? I feel like I kind of did. Side Scoop is wandering around obliviously. Nobody was particularly surprised. Oh, I see where I screwed up. Sort of. And why this looks weird. But I think it's just going to look kind of weird. Don't know how else I can do this. Let's plop that down up there. But yeah, no, that's basically my plan for Friday. Is I'm just gonna hang around, moderate the premiere, or I guess re-premiere of the interview that I'm doing today, and then after that, just get driven downtown and go hang out in a park. Cause Delta variant's still going kind of bonkers over here. Not fully bonkers, but bonkers enough that it's like I want to stay far the fuck away from that. Things are doing all right. Jack Nurick, how are you? A little chill. Haven't Tarn on the stream in like 3 hours. Jesus, fuck, 3 hours. Aside from that, just chilling. Yourself? I always get. I know people say it's silly, but I get this weird amount of anxiety whenever I'm about to have Tarn on the stream. Doing pretty much the same as yesterday, I would think. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, euphoric due to inebriation. No lovers, unfortunately. We need to get you some lovers. Haven't done anything particularly of note. You personally believe that the idea of war is utterly repellent and would have peace at all costs, believes that the acquisition of power over others is the ideal goal in life and worthy of the highest respect, sees family as one of the most important things in life, and views tranquility as one of the highest ideals, believes that those who sacrifice for others should be deeply respected, and sees the denial of impulses as vain and foolish. Pursuit indeed. Feels those who attempt to conceal their emotions vain and foolish, and doesn't respect society that is settled into harmony without debate and strife. Values cunning and sees life as unfair and doesn't mind it that way, and finds maintaining decorum a silly and fumbling waste of time, and finds blind honesty foolish, and doesn't see cooperation as valuable. And you created a great work of art, so your dreams in life are realized. Have you made an artifact? A while ago, yeah. It was a skirt, methinks. I'd have to go digging for that. Those are like way harder to like locate than they should be. Who made what artifact? I think instead of doing it this way, I should put a block there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct these. I'm going to deconstruct these. I'm going to put a stone block in the corner. I think I know what I'm going to do with this. Because this is going to be a little confusing for a little bit while I figure out exactly how I want to do this pattern. Let's jump back up here and then trade with the elves. Bring my trader over as soon as I get the opportunity. You know if she liked it? Cats don't like leash. They also don't like going outside if they've never been outside before, so probably didn't, would be my guess. You know, I really wish that that Steam console had a demonstration of how well VR would work with that thing. Because the more I'm looking at that, it's like, man, that thing in your backpack just running VR would be really cool. I'm just saying. That thing would be really cool as just like a VR set. All right, let's see what they brought us. Emu, chipmunk, wolf, donkey, another chipmunk. No gremlin. Rip gremlins. Also no sunshine. But yeah, no, we're just chilling until 3 p.m. So we'll just be doing the normal stuff until then. Boss wants 3 more ballista arrows. And we gotta fly back down to the underground. Fly back down to the underground. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Let's just do diorite. It doesn't matter. And then green glass. Because I don't really like those flat corners, so this will make it look a little nicer, I would hope. And then we can dig this further down. Although I'm going to have to suspend that and suspend that. Yeah, I have a document set up with roughly, hold on, 44 questions for Tarn. I don't know if we'll get to all of them because there's a lot there, admittedly. But my kind of main hope is that I'll be able to get to most of them. I had, for anybody who did submit a question, we had about 450 total submitted. And I want to say about 40 to 50 of them were just people asking when the release date is. So, also, there's a particular one that I want to read just because I think it's funny. And I don't want to make fun of this person because it's probably like English isn't their first language, but this one made me laugh so bloody hard the first time I read it, which is, let's see if I can find it. When against fire-composed creatures, dwarves will not pass through them, but military can be forced to beat the target, ? If blocked by fire, they must pass through by jump. Apparently that's a question. I'm still not sure what that question is. I've read that question so many times. I have no idea what that means. If anybody wants to see the actual question wording, here, I'll put it in quotes. I've read that one so many times, and I have genuinely no idea what the person is talking about. Or rather, what the question is, or how it's supposed to be formed into a question. You know what I mean? It's like, I can read that, but can you rephrase that as a question? And I feel kind of bad not being able to read it and understand what the person means. Alien Slayer II has grown to become a child. Just look at that. Wonderful. More children. Means mom doesn't need to hold it. Well, I mean, there is no formed question there, right? And he answers his own question. It's like, they must pass through by jump. Yes, this is true. It is true. They do need to pass through fire by jumping through it. Actually, you know what? I've screwed this up. Let's do it this way. The world started at year 5. The embark size is the default, so 4x4, I think. And I did actually, not on stream, I have a second install with DF hack running. And one day I just populated the fort up to 250 out of curiosity, with 250 with guests, 200 citizens. Just out of curiosity, see what the frame rate would be. It was still above 30. So with the frame rate counter and everything, I can benchmark this fortress at 30 plus frames with 200 dwarves at the current year. So if you're wondering how I'm keeping the frame rate up, it's intelligent pathing and disposing of unneeded items mostly. A lot of people have a hoarding problem in DF where they just try and hoard everything. I realize it's tempting, but if you don't do that and don't have uncontrollable amount of loose physics objects everywhere, in my experience, Dwarf Fortress is exceptionally stable and doesn't have any frame rate problems. I always kind of just chalk it up to a lot of people don't really know what they're doing when they're playing the game, so they just kind of build stuff, and then they run into a laggy problem, and then rather than figuring out how to fix it, they just give up immediately and chalk it up to FPS death. But in most cases, I find if there's a frame rate issue, it's probably because something's stuck somewhere. The only time I actually have frame rate issues is when there's 200 humans in the fort, and I'm getting dive bombed by buzzards because air traveling creatures have fucky pathing, which wrecks your frames. The only reason we have such a low population count is because I specifically don't want to get invaded. Because the version that I'm running on isn't the most recent version, it's the one before. So stress from invasions is a real knocker. And so we're trying to keep the fort alive for 1,000 years just to see if that's possible. But, like, it's not really a frame rate thing. Frame rate, in my experience, has always just been about stuff getting stuck in places that they're not supposed to be. So, but, you know, we're at 272. We started at year 5, right? And it is a small world. Although I don't, in my experience, world size doesn't actually affect frame rate much. Because I've done forts in like 1,050-year-old worlds a couple times that are really big with no frame rate issues. The only time frame rate or the only time game speed is affected, in my experience specifically, by world age is while saving and loading. Saving and loading affects it greatly. But that's the only way that it affects it in my experience anyway. I don't know if that's representative of everybody's experience, but that's certainly been my experience with this. So where do I swap? Problem is this is just going to constantly be getting smaller. I guess what I need to do is I need to cut out this, 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 and this. I mean, like, I use other streams as examples because that's like the most live gameplay you'll see of DF. And a lot of the times if I see newer players playing this game and I'm lurking in a stream, if they're complaining about frame rates, it would take me about maybe a minute to figure out what dwarf they have stuck behind a locked door, or what creature they have trapped in a place that it doesn't want to be trapped in, or you know, maybe they have a mosh pit of 300 zombies just like at the bottom of a fall trap that aren't dying, or you know, something is trying to path through something that's burning forever. It's like there's so many little things that can cause things to get stuck in places that mess with people's perception of their frame rate. And because of all of the memes of the game running like shit, they just assume, oh, this is normal, when it's, if you do it right and you're smart about it, it's pretty easy to avoid frame rate loss. Obviously, you know, if you're running at a maximum capacity fortress with a lot of fighting going on, yeah, you're gonna run into frame rate problems because there's just gonna be so many AIs running around in the game. But I don't know. I chalk this game up to, it's like City Skylines. You know, like, people love looking at images of like those beautifully built cities and City Skylines, but I don't know how many people realize this, but those cities all run at like frames per minute in some cases. You're on 250 citizens and you started at year 250. You've been going for 50 plus years currently. Been hoarding a bit. The goal is to get a total value of a billion. Okay, so you've been selling off and smashing tons of lower value stuff and optimizing and pushing stuff, working your way back up to 15 FPS. Awesome. Fuck yeah. Is it just the default size? Yo, you should document that fort. I'd be really curious to hear how that goes, actually. Because like older forts that are like older than 15 years, I think, are kind of a rarity. And I think it's important that like you share that, the information that you've had. How long have you been running that fort, if I can ask? It's 5x5 embark? Okay, so it is bigger than this one. I mean, good luck. That's kind of awesome, actually. I was thinking about, after this fortress, seeing if I could get a 500 population fort. That's something that I've been thinking about doing, and just to see what the frames would be like and see if I can make it playable after I finish this fort. Nosferatu, what's up? You've had a child, by the way. You have a bab. You has a bab. Also, you hunting. You're terrified while in conflict. You don't like hunting very much. But you are married, and you have a son and daughter. Renbird and Alien Slayer. Double daddy. You are daddy. Can confirm you are daddy in this. All right. Aqua's still doing all right. I mean, I'm just curious to try it, you know? Probably the way I would do it is I'd put 100 dwarves in the fort and just run like normal for maybe 2 or 3 years, build enough bedrooms and food supplies to be able to maintain 500, and then just open the floodgates, crank the population cap up, and see what happens, right? That's probably what I'll do. And then we'll see where we end up after that. But I don't know. This fort's gonna take me a long time. We're guesstimating that it'll probably take me another year to finish this fort. And that's if I start doing the marathons that I'm kind of planning on doing, because I know I'm gonna need to. So I am angling my glass tube, yes, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 60 Z levels with water at the bottom. Fuck that! I'm not going through that. So we're going around it. Also, I just realized I screwed this up. This needs to be one further down. In order to continue angling it. Yeah, I'm not going through that. Absolutely not. What would I consider? Frames per minute is what I consider FPS death. So if you're getting less than 1 frame per second, that's borderline, and you have a problem. If the game locks, that's FPS death. So FPS death is frames stop. But, you know. I mean, below 5 is still playable, though. That's the thing. It's just everything moves in slow motion. But it's still playable. I don't know. I put DF in kind of the same book as, like, you know, a city builder, where it's gonna get slow eventually, and there really isn't much you can do about it. You playable, but you lose interest with that slow? Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I tend to agree. You would become too annoyed with how long things take. You're fine with 30 plus. Yeah, no, totally. I agree. I mean, at that when you get below 5, at that point, it's like that's where I understand why people use fast dwarf with DF hack and stuff like that. But I mean, the game, as long as you keep the population to 200, don't let a bajillion guests in, and dispose of items, yeah, you can easily keep your frames playable. Also, I'm kind of curious, joke load. What shape of stairs do you use? Because I find that the type of stairs, and also, are you using Hack and Therapist? That's another question that I have, because I find that Hack and Therapist slow down the game quite considerably, actually. This fort, you know, currently in full vanilla with no background processes running, runs at 45 frames. If I have 200 dwarves on a second save file, plus guests, this fort runs at about 30 to 25. And with, what's the word? And then with Hack and Therapist running, it runs even slower. Although, you know, there is like ways to make things run smoother with DF hacks, so. Like supposed to stop working? Whoopsie indeed. Current Fortress is 31 years and running. 30 to 40 FPS with 260. Yeah, see, there you go. Right? Like, wow. See, like, you like, I don't know. There's two things that, there's two videos that I want to do, but I don't know how to do them because I need a lot of community contacts. The first one that I want to do is I want to do a video on old forts. I'm kind of privy to that specifically because, you know, I've been running Longdeath for this long, right? But not purely because of how long I've been running Longdeath. I also want to talk with Sathatos about Archcrystal, which ran for 500 years on a much older version of the game, admittedly, which was much less stable. And I want to know, and then the other video that I want to do is basically just like FPS death is a myth, kind of, because it's, I feel like it's player error the majority of the time, and because it's such a heavily ingrained meme in people's heads, they just figure that any kind of FPS drop means it's the inevitable FPS death. Like, I don't know. I'd be really curious to see what the community reaction to a chat like that would be, because I'd need to have a bunch of people like share their forts with me that are, you know, older, that have been around running for a while, that have normal standard populations. You do 3x3 with a middle block. Okay, so you put a block in the middle floor? Because, like, for stairs designs, this one is a really common one, which I'm actually using mostly in this fort. Just more out of laziness than anything. But this one I find is the best. I used to do the 3x3 with the center cutout, but I swapped out, I was running a bigger fort that was actually having some FPS issues, and I swapped this stair pattern for this stair pattern, and my frame rate went up by like 5 immediately. Like everything like noticeably like jolted and sped up. So that's why I was asking like what pattern you do. It's like I've seen people do like this for like this size of oopsies, like up down stairs that are like this big. And that causes major issues, because with the the way Cupo explained it, I don't know how accurate this is, but the way Cupo explained it to me was that the maximum, like what you want for efficiency in stairs, especially vertical stairs, is you want the maximum number of directions they can go, so that they can go around each other without having to pass over top of each other, so they don't have to lie down mid running period, but also the least amount of options for directions they can go. It's like with this, from here, if there was somebody in front of them, they could go, like if they're standing here, right, and there's somebody in front of them, they could go here, they could go here, they could go here, they could go here, or here, or here. Here it's even worse. That's all, every single possible direction they could go around the person. Whereas here, if they run into somebody, all they can go is here, right? Or if they're here and they run into somebody, all they can go is there. And I mean, obviously in the center, there's more options, but they should be able to avoid everybody without actually colliding with each other with the minimum possible decisions. I don't know. Maybe worth trying. Especially if you're trying to get to 1 billion fortress value. Exported. Also, investments are open if anybody cares. Might try rebuild. If you do a rebuild, just let us know if there's any improvements. Because, I don't know, like, I mean, I have the cross stairs for the upper sections of this fortress, not for this lower part. And like I said, mostly due to laziness. I was just wondering why that dwarf wasn't moving, and then I realized the game was paused. No matter how many hours I have in this game, I think I will always do that sometimes. And side scoop's throwing a tantrum. God damn it. It's bloody merchants, man. Oh, wow, you just threw a barrel. Well, a pot, actually. Is that enough for people to go report a crime? Guess not. Man, life's rough in the investing house of stone. Hey, Epion. Fancy seeing you here on a day when I'm not playing Jupiter Hell. For those of you who don't know, Epion CF makes this game.
This is my favorite roguelike on the Citadel.
Go check it out. Leaving early access soon, TM. That trailer's rad. That's all I gotta say about that. No crimes commit? Okay. I'd say that actually looks kind of nice. The slant. Of running around social media. I thought the point of getting a publisher was that you didn't need to run around the social medias as much. But how's the response to the trailer been? And also, what's your take on the, you know, definitely everybody asked for Steam Deck? Which is a terrible name because a Stream Deck is also a thing. Because I just think it's a terrible name. I'm going to stand by that for a while, I think. Probably forever. Your range is still small. Yeah. You know, yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of bad when, like, you know, I put a ton of effort into, I put a ton of effort into, like, editing the interview that I did with you and the one I did with Odd Realm, and then I put up, like, the announcement video for the interview that I'm doing today with Tarn, and it's like that gets more views in like 30 minutes than the other ones do in the first 4 hours, and it's like, man. Wait, did you actually have like a Steam page paid for Spotlight? Because that's ridiculous. Unless, like, you're just joking. But actually convincing people to watch trailers for things is difficult. Unless, like, you're just lucky enough to go viral or something. That feels like a trailer that would have been shown at, like, one of the E3 events that just happened, though. I think I need to go one further. Yes. There's no option to throw. Really? How the heck do they decide who gets big full screen front page shit then? Like when you like you load up Steam and it's just like, I don't know, new. I don't know. I've seen like this whole chunk of Steam advertising one specific game a lot of times. I always thought that was just paid for. Now I want to know how they decide who to put there. Did I make that too big? I think I might have. Yeesh. One too big. Huh. That is weird. I don't. I almost think I would prefer that someone just pays for it, but I don't know. I am naturally programmed to dislike things that are powered and run by an algorithm. Due to living and dying by whether or not YouTube decides to put my stuff in people's recommended box or not. Because that's just a game of popularity versus like, hey, you could pay for promotion. But I know the Xbox straight up just has sponsored junk at the top of everything, so. Yeah. Chat, we're a little lurky. If you're lurking in the channel, just type in the word beer. Let's see how many beers we can get. Of course, we still got, you know what, 2.5 hours. Till Tarn joins me. Just want to know how many people are listening to the stream. Gotta keep that chant moving. It's slow season, so it's understandable. Everybody's outside and doing real life shit. You know, I'm over here going. Still streaming. Also, various emotes and emojis and other languages also work. See, I'm getting frame rate issues right now. Literally, the only reason I'm getting frame rate issues is because all the dwarves are piling down my stairs. And I do not have these stairs particularly well organized. You're forcing yourself out of the workshop as you speak? What were you working on? Tell me once you're out of the workshop. There are so many boulders. There we go. I'll get this pattern right eventually. Sawing up a tree branch for some cool wood. Cool. So I have a question. Why did you have to be out of the workshop by such a specific time if it's your workshop? Who cares? Just work as much as you want. I'm a very good influence for people who overwork themselves. Facts. I really hope that this is going to, Oh, Alien Slayer withdraws from society. I don't know if you're still lurking, Alien, but, You're in the middle of a neighborhood? So? Are you saying that you're really loud? I mean, if you own your home, what the fuck are they gonna do? Sue you for public disturbance? Come on, you don't live in America. Please. This child is very small. That wood is very heavy. Is that lead wood? You live in your parents' attic? Well then, they seem to care. Maybe they should move to the attic. Then they'll be further away from the sawing sounds. Just trying to find a solution here. Maybe you should soundproof your workshop. I'm just shocked that I've lived in this apartment for so long and I've never once got a single noise complaint. What is that? Oh, tower cap. All right. This is a... How old are you, child? 1 year old! She's 1 year old and she's just hauling an entire tree trunk. How adorable. It's great ambition, I would say. You're also currently working on moving out? Right. Have you ever, like, moved out from your parents' house before? I'm always, like, amazed when I run into people that are still living with their parents for whatever reason. Because, like, I moved out at 19. Or, no, 18. Like, right before I turned 19. And I couldn't imagine living with my parents as an adult. Silver bars. Good taste. Good taste, child. I like it. Depends on the country. I mean, I don't know how old you are, Beer Minear, but I don't know. I wanted to move out at 16, and probably would have if they'd let me. Wouldn't... You're happy with your living situation. Wouldn't be able to keep this flat without me? Did you miss a word there? I mean, yeah, if you didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to keep your own flat. I think you missed, like, without your mom or something. I don't know. I'm always amazed when like I guess I've just I've lived alone for so long now that it's like when people say that they still live with their parents, I'm like, oh right, yeah, people do that. Shit. That sounds like a real good way to save money. I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My parents have offered me to move back in with them a couple of times, and I'm like, listen, Mom, Dad, I love you, but you don't want me working until 9 o'clock at night loudly at my computer in your house. Also, no offense, your internet sucks. Your internet's terrible. And I need good internet. I have the good internet. They don't have the good internet. They don't want the good internet. I have the good internet, so. I did a speed test last time I was over at my parents' house, and it's like, I was like 5 up and like 18 down, which is like the fastest internet that they've ever had. And I'm over here with 1.5 G up down. I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. You don't want to live in a dorm while you go to university if your parents don't object. No, it's totally fair. I mean, like, this dwarf probably wants, There's a cut gems. That's a lot of cut gems. Shining metal bars. Probably wants an animal, a forest. We already got that. Shining bars, metal. Quarry. Skeletons. Yes. Slaughter some unicorns. Actually, I should slaughter a bunch of unicorns. I've apparently got a bunch more unicorns than I thought I had, so let's just do a bunch of this. Take a break from the digging for a minute. Oh, are you moving into student housing? Mirror? Yeah, no, I respect people who live with their parents. It just always surprises me a little bit. Like, one of the things that surprised me more than anything was a streamer that I used to watch a whole lot, but now don't because he streams at the exact same time that I do and ends before I do. So I don't see his streams ever anymore. But he used to always live with his parents until he just moved in with his girlfriend recently. All right, Aqua. You're finally out of prison. What are you doing? You got no job? All right, so military makes you happy. So let's get your squad training in the waterfall. Anyway, he always lived with his parents. His dad would like show up from time to time. Dude was like in his like early 30s. And like the reasoning was, well, he makes a lot of money streaming, paid his parents' mortgage, he gets along just fine with his parents, and they don't make him pay rent. But he paid off his parents' mortgage on streaming, so it's one of those like, well, I'm doing real well, so might as well just keep living here. Although on the topic of the housing market being fucked, Man vs. Game, who's legendary streamer who's been on Twitch for way too goddamn long, is currently like in the process of getting like slowly evicted because his landlord decided they wanted to sell the unit and they offered it to him for sale. They're like, yo, do you want to just buy this place that you live in? And he didn't have enough for the down payment, which is ridiculous. Although apparently they have housing options, so he's just going to move. But like, it puts into perspective. It's just like how fucked housing market is right now. It's an absolute cluster. That's actually my biggest concern is that because I've requested another year lease for this place, is that my landlord's going to turn around and be like, yo, yeah, we need you to move because the owner wants to sell. That's my big concern every time this time of the year rolls around. Every time I'm just absurdly worried that my my landlord is going to be like, yeah, the owner wants to sell. And I'll be like, fuck. Because I know if they were to sell right now, I wouldn't be able to afford the down payment either. I could probably afford the monthly payments, but I wouldn't have enough for a down payment, I don't think. Unless I went like 50-50 in on it with my parents or something. But yeah, it's a weird world. I don't think it's that no one owns property in the U.S. I think no one should own property in the U.S. because of how much it is. Like, anybody actually spending full money housing prices on houses right now in the U.S. is ridiculous. I know, like, a handful of people who own houses in Seattle and stuff, or apartments. And, like, whenever I hear about the amount of money they spent on those places, it just blows my mind. It's like, oh, my God, I could retire on that money. It's like, what would you do with $3 million? Buy a penthouse suite in Seattle or retire early? Could practically retire early. If you manage that correctly, invest it correctly, you could buy more houses. Buy more houses in more remote locations. Ironically, I would probably just go buy a very small condo somewhere cheap, and just invest it. No, I mean, like, one of my teammates got a house for an extremely affordable price. It was the house that he was renting. Dwarf and his fiance, they got a house at an extremely affordable price because their landlord passed away. Um, and I think it was like the last remaining family member was like, "Yo, here, have this house for an incredibly affordable price." You know, a place where you could buy whole towns for that. No, totally. I mean, like, I was part of the reason I was looking at moving before last year was because like if I moved up into a smaller town in northern BC of like 8,000 people, like I could very easily just buy an apartment, but like, or a house even. It's like houses in some smaller cities in BC are like $300,000 for a 3-bedroom house. Not that I want a 3-bedroom house, but you know, another 100 square feet would be nice. $3 million with the 3% rule is really good retirement in my area. I mean, I'd probably put a lot of it into crypto, or at least a good chunk of it, if I suddenly had $3 million. But that's because I'm one of those. But anyway, here come the humans. Time to trade. Just one of the caverns. Caravans. That's the word I was looking for. I know, I know a dude through Twitch who I won't name, who got rich in Silicon Valley in the early 2000s, made a lot of fucking money, and quite literally bought a massive chunk of land in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, and built a bunker on it. Built his own house. It's like mostly underground. You can't really see the house from the outside. And he lives mostly underground, and I don't think has left his house in the last 5 years. So, I mean, I'm sure that living like that's got its own set of mental problems, but Royal Treasurer has arrived. You love that man? I don't, because he's a crazy person, but, you know, I could see why you would come to that conclusion. Our child is carrying very heavy bars. Particularly secretive. Lead bars. No wonder you're moving so slowly. Sounds like a dwarf. I mean, it's too tall for a dwarf. He's like 6'5". Maybe if we capped him at the knees. And our child has begun a mysterious construction. Our child is carrying lead bars. Yes, that is true. The child was indeed carrying literal bars of lead. I will add that to the quotes. Quote 337. Ganach Vakasur, the human royal treasurer, says, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to you people. There's much to discuss. What requests do you have of our merchants? And I'm going to say all of the wood. Because I still need it for making glass. Until I can bump the shit up from the basement. And on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me bid farewell to you and your stout dwarves. Goodbye, humans! This is playing DFIRL. Aren't we all kind of just playing DFIRL? I mean, I'm currently playing DF in real life. Literally, this is my real life, and I am playing DF, so. That's about as IRL DF as you can get. Oh, another question that I deleted like 5 of that people submitted were variations on, can you please license the song Diggy Diggy Hole to be the official intro song, please? I really hate Diggy Diggy Hole. Not that much, but it's not very good. Yeah. Lead poisoning does not exist for dwarf at all. This is true. True facts. What else do we have? Let's do that. Sell you all my cages. I don't really need all those. How many buckets do I have? Kind of a lot more than I need. Let's get rid of some of these. All right. Oh, that'll be fine. You'd probably dig a hole? To diggy hole? I mean, maybe you could. I know that Kit Fox is making a new soundtrack for DF. I really hope it has some sort of modernized version of the classic DF riff. You know what I mean? Like I want it to have that same sound to it. But there we go. We fixed Aqua. Good stuff. I want it to have that same riff, but be like a modernized version of it. You know what I mean? It's like rotting. Yeah. You don't play it? I really like it too. For the first 30 minutes I listened to it, then I want it to stop. It's like having a clock going tick, 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 tick behind your head. Alien Slayer II, the Dwarven Child, has created Eb Alnol Iner Stris, a willow scepter, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Nosferatu. Nosferatu, congratulations, you've had a scepter dedicated to you by your child. How does that make you feel? Can I please get a fatherly speech? Speech! Clap indeed, yep. It's worth 31,200 Zetal, and it is a willow scepter. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is studded with silver and decorated with single-cut green glass gems. Encircled with bands of willow and octagon green glass gems. This object is adorned with hanging rings of tower cap and menaces with spikes of schist and green glass. On the item is an image of Locum Rime Lancers, the dwarf and dwarves in lead. Locum Rime Lancers is surrounded by the dwarves. The arc relates to the ascension of the dwarf Locum Rime Lancers to the position of Count of the Ignited Creation in the mid-spring of 26. No, it's Reveresome the Beguiler of Princesses. Man, that really is a dildo if I ever heard one. The Beguiler of Princesses. It beguiles princesses. I mean, that's you get. You know, I'm gonna put that in the king's throne room because it's the Beguiler of Princesses, and I need my king to make a goddamn child at some point. Not in a bedroom? Why would I want the king to beguile their own princess? This is Dwarf Fortress, not Crusader Kings. Please, have some class. How old is the king now? Hasn't had a child yet. 118. Only has a lover, is not married. And I need more ballista arrows. It depends. Are we counting ballista arrows as children? But Taurus, who actually popped into chat relatively recently and said hi, says that having children is a big commitment and they're not ready to make that decision. It's like, come on, you. Just bang my king already, please. Can ballista arrows assume the throne of the kingdom? I hope so. I hope so, that we could have a crowned ballista arrow. But Nosferatu says, my kid was born underground, suckled from a treat of stone, raised in the dark and safety of the mountain home. Skin of iron and steel in our bones to dig and dig makes us free. Come on, child, sing with me. And the child says, I need another pint. Dad's singing again. Because that's how I would feel if Dad started singing. I don't know. I'm not a dad, so I can't speak to it. But I suppose so. I suppose so. There's probably some accuracy to that statement. If not, somebody taught my dad wrong. Why did my Rams starve to death? Someone speak to Ford about, like, their pickup trucks, because that seems... Oh, no, wait, that's Dodge who makes Rams. I don't know. I don't know anything about vehicles. Someone speak to Dodge, because this Ram just starved to death. Actually, another thing. Let's get those sold. You could say it dodged its meals. Ayo! How you doing, Disco? Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's ram those puns with the bumper, right? And the fuel economy. Or rather, lack thereof. Flat by Chrysler? Chrysler still exists? Really? Huh. I thought they crashed and burned in the last economic crisis. Forget about the current one. That's why they're called Fiat Chrysler now? Huh. Is that also why all of the Chrysler dealerships here became Fiat dealerships? Because that would make some sense. We used to have like this massive fucking Chrysler dealership pretty close to here, and it's now just a giant Fiat dealership. So I was just like under the impression that they were just like dead, gone, kaput, bye-bye, nada. They got bailed out? Of course they did. You know, when individuals go bankrupt, that's fine and normal. When giant corporations go bankrupt, they give them bajillions of dollars. Because, you know, this is the world we live in. Poor financial planning and investments and business decisions doesn't necessarily lead to you know. I mean, I know what Fiat is. I just didn't realize they owned Chrysler. Like, I'm well aware of Fiat. They make the stupid little cars that look almost as dumb as smart cars. And Cadillac? Well, I don't know. I as someone, I am the weirdest person ever when it comes to cars. 'Cause I just don't care. I guess like that's the easiest way of putting it. I don't care. I'm interested in the technology surrounding cars, specifically like electric cars and whatnot. Like I find that battery tech to be fascinating, but like kind of for the same reason that I like computers because I find the tech interesting. But cars couldn't be further from my interests, which is ironic because I like F1, but I guess F1 is kind of a different thing than just normal cars. I like how this first one is like significantly bigger. And it just starts shifting, and then since then it's been pretty consistent. Do you guys think that that looks good? What do you think? I think that this is a pretty relatively clean way to shift this in the direction. Is Cadillac all electric? Really? I knew nothing about that. The only Cadillac I've been thinking about recently is the Andrew WK album called 55 Cadillac. Which is an all piano album that he put out. That's the only Cadillac I've thought about in like maybe the last 5 years. So. Got a buyout option to convert to electric services. Huh. I mean, that seems like a logical business decision in the current climate of electric vehicular stuffs. Is there... Oh, I see. There's a forbidden... There's a forbidden rock underneath that one. That would do it. I wouldn't say that's totally true. Because there are some... Well, I will say this. About 6 or 7 years ago, the most popular car in my chunk of town was Dodge Chargers. Hands down. Most common, like, anybody who looked like they had more than $30,000 a year income probably owned a Dodge Charger in this part of town. Now they're all Teslas. I would say that Teslas are the new luxury car. But I don't think electric vehicles are necessarily a luxury car because there are affordable electric vehicles. Like my parents have like a Nissan Leaf, and that thing was not expensive. So. Yeah. You too, eh? Tygo, you as well. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't really talk about it much because it annoys people, but I hear that too. Just like I can hear most TVs. It's like most TVs as well as supersonic welders and... Dealers make money on repairs. Electric vehicles break less frequently, so a lot of them bought themselves out of the Cadillac brand. Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, I don't think we have any Cadillac dealers. I don't think we've ever had Cadillac dealers around here, though. Oh, there's a ultrasound, not people counter, but package counter. Nosferatu is fighting with a Hore Marmot. Good luck, sir. It's just a funny line to read. There is a supersonic package counter in the local Canada Post counting space post office. I can't walk down that block on the other side of the street without wanting to collapse onto the ground with my hands over my ears. It's like, you know those scenes in movies when like they get really bad anxiety all of a sudden and everything just goes beep and they like fall over? It's literally that, but me in public. It's so fucking bad. I don't understand how anybody works in that place. It is awful. Absolutely fucking awful. It's maybe one of the worst sounds I've ever heard in my life. It is horrible. So, it's probably very similar to that. What amazes me more than anything, though, is how many people just don't hear it. You know? Like, I walked past it with my mom, and I'm like, do you not hear that? And she's like, no. What are you talking about? Hear what? I'm like, do you not hear that? Ah. All right. Let's get this channeled. I don't know what that is, Renbird, but I will be back in a second. I'm going to go take a leak. I don't. Okay, I'm back. A sonic weapon that induces headaches developed to target the U.S. Embassy in Cuba. Oh, so what you're saying is they pointed at you and then a blue hedgehog runs circles around you and it goes so fast that it makes high-pitched wheeing sound? Yeah, that sounds awful. Just like the video games. Also, yeah, I seem to recall hearing about that. You mean the guys at the U.S. Embassy are getting hung over and then blaming it on the Cubans? I mean... I mean... Doesn't the U.S. just blame everything on Cuba? You know, I had this conversation with my neighbor relatively recently, which is like, America is so fucking terrified of Cuba, yet give it 30 years and Canada's gonna be more socialist than Cuba. Like, I don't know. I find that kind of funny. There's a weird irony about that. If not more than at least almost as. That's why they can't tune all those things just a little bit higher. Surely the range depends on material. But it's still a pretty big range. I don't know. Like, I'm assuming we're back onto electric cars now. It's like, I don't know. I don't design batteries for a living, you know, and I don't design motors for a living. I don't know how any of that stuff works, so I'm not going to pretend to. But yeah, I do wish that there wasn't a high-pitched whine. Fortunately for me, when I'm in the car, I don't have a problem. It's only if I'm like right next to it when it's driving, or like if it's driving down the road. But I don't know, more reasons to just have earbuds in all the time, I guess. Actually, what will probably happen is the more popular electric vehicles get, we're all just going to get very, 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 very slight hearing damage and then not be able to hear it anyway. That's probably what'll happen. Because, like, my dad can't hear the supersonic welders in his workplace, right? Because his hearing is damaged because he's been working around supersonic welders for the past 15 years. So if I walk past those supersonic welders, I have to fall onto the ground and scream almost because of how painful it is without earplugs. Whereas he can just hear them no problem. He can just walk past them no problem because he doesn't hear them. Because and as he says, I used to hear them. Haven't heard them in years. I mean, didn't like Tesla specifically have issues with like the roofs of their cars flying off on the highway right as they left the dealership a couple months ago? Or was that like a year ago? That happened at least once. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like maybe they need to fix their quality control before they, you know, fix the supersonic sounds issue. It's one of those things where, like, I don't even assume that it's an issue because I just assume that it only affects me. Because very few people hear as well as I do, so it's always just like the default assumption for me to just assume that nobody else would hear it. Something curious. So, Steam sells video games, right? And you can review video games. Why don't they sell... Why don't they let us review their hardware? It's like... They have this Vive. And the soon coming Vive Pro 2. Why can't people leave reviews for that stuff? And I wonder what the reviews would be for them. Like, if we could just have, like, a Steam review rating for the HTC Vive, I wonder what those reviews would look like. Oh no, Sidescoop's depressed again. I really hope that this is going to make it 2 hours until Tarn Adams joins me. 2 hours. Not gonna lie, these are always the most stressful streams I do. I don't know if it's coming through, but I get some weird extreme anxiety when I'm having guests on my streams. Doesn't even matter who they are. Really? That's wild, Renbird. I'm still just waiting to see and curious to see how many and whether or not people adopt electric trucks. Because, like, this is the first year that there's a lot of electric pickups on the market that I'm aware of anyway. I'm really curious to see how many people pick those up when those become available and purchasable. Also, investments are open if you want to invest your tickets. It's the reason why some places require earplugs while you can't hear anything. Yeah, no, I agree. You are correct with the ultrasound comment. Also, the word ultrasound and ultrasonic are both really fun to say. As painful as they can be, they're good words. I think we're gonna make it. I hope. What about Megasonic? No. Nowhere near as cool. Ultra. All the way into the Ultra. Man, there must be a lot of rocks right there, because that's taken that dwarf a very, very, very long time. I don't understand what the question is, Animal. I'm sorry. You have surpassed my ability to understand. Oh, so good. I think people who use trucks like cars will love electric trucks, but as a diesel truck user, it will take decades to reach parity due to power requirements. What, like just charging the truck? Or are you talking about like torque? Like what, when you say power, what do you mean power? But they already have horsepower clarity, at least from what I've read. It's like something like the highest power motorcycle in the world is a electric motorcycle. Oh. Well, I understand now. I'm sure that fan art exists. That Tesla semi? They really need to put that thing on market. Because that would say, imagine what that would do for the world if well, you know. The giant Zuko has come. A gigantic creature resembling a human, almost unparalleled in its size. A giant named Zuko, yeah. Isn't that Fire Nation kid? Hold on. I need to look this up. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so like, is that the same spelling? Hold on. Yeah. No, like, Nani? Shut up, fandom. I mean, yep. Got him. Well, huh. Anyway, the giant Zuko has come, a gigantic creature resembling a human, almost unparalleled in size. Well, I should take a peek around and see if I have any dwarves up and about. If not, I could probably just let him run in. Zuko is naked. His greasy, wavy hair is extremely long. He has a broad body, and his broad ears are very flattened. He has a narrow, recessed chin. He has a high voice, and his teeth are crowded. His hair is quite dense, and his nose bridge is slightly convex. His head is somewhat short, and his nose is slightly upturned. His hair is dark tan, and his skin is pink. His eyes are olive, and his eyebrows are slightly dense. Well, let's see where he goes. Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop, doop, 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 doop. Got him. He fell for the cow trap. Speaking of, I'm gonna slaughter some of my cattle. Burgers on the menu, boys. Good job, cows. You caught a giant for us. In a wooden cage, I think. Yep, alder. Man, this poor pilot is still working on this. How many more boulders do you have to haul? Oh my word. I think we need to get some of these boulders out of here. What do you think? Zuko is goblin for domination? Zuko the Dominator. I like it. Giant, not a Cyclops. Giant. It was a G, not a C. Yep, free giant. It was distracted by my cattle. With that name? Yeah, yeah. Or suspend him in the middle of the lava lamp somewhere. I'll bet you we could do that, right? Suspend him in the middle of the lava lamp. Build him a little box. A little hole in the middle. Lock him in there. What do you think? We'll figure out something to do with him. We'll figure it out. I won't just stick him in the maze like my other giants. But, you know, another one for the collection at the very least. Unfortunately, like, it really sucks that because this world is so young, none of them are going to have artifacts. I always love it when giants show up and they have, like, 15 spears and, like, a crossbow and 30 kills. But I don't know. It does sound cool. we'll have to suspend it somewhere. Although chat, streamers got to sell out a little bit, and just remind everybody that during this time of year is slow season for Twitch. Money's always slow, viewership's always low, all that stuff. So because of that, I'm putting my Patreon stuff on sale. So from now until the 31st of this month, any annual Patreon support is 16% off. It's normally 5% off. But if you want to support this channel, you can get a whole year of Patreon benefits at any tier for 16% off, if you are so inclined. Just thought I'd, prop that up there. I'm sure things will pick up a little closer to the interview, but today is actually kind of a quiet day, all things considered. Kind of a quiet day. Only one real reason for beer so far today, too. And I don't really expect people to be too enthused by today's news for DF because, it's literally just the manager screen. Still waiting for those goblin pictures that were promised. Beer for Zuko's, if you want. I don't know how many beers we'll get, but... We are definitely getting to kind of the more boring stages of Steam DF news, that's for sure. It's just... I still want to see somebody's head sailing off in an arc. That's the news update I'm waiting for. I just want to see a head skid across the ground and intestines get shot out. Although I keep getting errors on my own replay because I've got my own replay up in my dashboard on Twitch, right? I keep getting these errors. So I have this weird feeling that, like, part of the reason view counts have been low recently is because people get errors when they're lurking and, maybe they're asleep or they're not there. I've gotten, like, 4 since I started streaming today. I've been getting them a lot on other streams, too, and I've heard other people saying that. I think it, like, depends on... It's like a person-to-person thing, but, like, the people who get them seem to get them a lot. Maybe some regions have problems? Perhaps, I don't know. All I know is that when the stream gets a little lurky, views just tick down right now, and they stay weirdly low. Like, it's very rare for me to go below 40 people watching. I've been going below 40 almost every day for the past, like, month. For at least, like, 30 minutes to an hour in the middle of the day, around lurky time. Which is just plain strange, but... That or people just don't like me. It's one of the two. So I generally try and find some reasoning for it logically, not just that people don't like me. Generally, I think people like me. Of course, there's a few reasons why people wouldn't like me, but that's fine. There's plenty of reasons why I don't like me. But, would you look at this? I wanted to get myself one of these bagpipes for the humans. The cat leather one. And it looks like this human is using it. Because this royal treasurer would come here every year. And would try and would mimic a mabin. Which is literally just like a small bagpipes. And now that I have one in the fortress, he's carrying it. Meaning, assuming he doesn't steal it, which he might... hopefully, it'll teach my dwarves how to play it. Because my dwarves have learned human dances and elven dances from the humans and the elves. Same with instruments. The early summer of the year 220, the human Kapoch Lilactorth became the lawgiver of the Confederacy of Sport. Now they're telling us human history. I mean, male dwarves already wear skirts, so how far is that really from kilts? Male dwarves love their dresses and skirts. They also like their lingerie, but that's a different subject. Now bagpipes soon kilts than the world. I mean, next thing you know, animal, you're gonna have a kid, and he's gonna be born with a beard. Dress in a loincloth? What can a dwarf need? Oh, a wool cap, obviously. And maybe some leather leggings. You asked what more a dwarf could need. Oh, and yeah, and 2 socks, of course. And 2 mittens and 2 gloves. Maybe 47 crowns and 13 rings on each hand, of course. A few on the toes. I once counted a dwarf with 200 plus pieces of jewelry on them in this fort. It's pretty good. Very greedy dwarf and a comb. Are there combs in DF? I know dwarves can't make them. Good question. Clothing? I mean, there's honeycombs, yes. Not like hair combs. I wasn't even thinking about honeycombs. We got plenty of honeycombs in this fort. But nothing to do with honeycombs, but the human merchants have arrived to give us their stuff. The annual tributes from Besti Pime and Nulanapo have arrived. Walking into the grand suspended entrance hallway. They're always neatly combed? I imagine that they just have very dexterity-filled fingers. They use their fingers to... Like, you can kind of comb your hair with your hands. Why couldn't they? And groom your hair with your hands. Why couldn't they use their hands? I'm sure that they're nice and coarse. It'd be like using sandpaper. Well, here's the thing, right? And I've been aware of this for some time, but I have to ask Tarn about it today. Stone, dwarves don't make loincloths or thongs. But if you fight with some elves and you kill the elves and you unforbid the armor on the ground, then... and you unforbid the armor that's on the ground, they will make a beeline for the elves' undergarments. They will make a beeline for the thongs and the loincloths. But because dwarves can't make new ones, it's impossible for them to go replace them. And if dwarves can't replace an article of clothing that they are wearing, they will just wear it until it rots off their body, which is also one of the biggest mood debuffs you can possibly get. So if you unforbid thongs and loincloths, the dwarves will go out of their way to equip them, and it's impossible to import them fast enough to be able to replace them all in a full dwarf. So I will have to ask Tarn about the loincloth and undergarment issue, because once they have underwear, fix the simple, kill more elves, until you run out of elves, and then the dwarves still don't have this solution, right? So, I mean, it's a temporary fix, but it's only a temporary fix until the species is extinct, right? I don't see that as a fix. Temporary solution, not a fix. I mean, the actual fix is don't kill elves so that you don't ever get their underwear. It's like the solution to not getting addicted to heroin. Don't buy heroin. Super easy, you know? Just don't ever take heroin. You'll never get addicted to heroin. Let me know when you're ready for me to scroll. Am late or something? You're late? Late for what? Also, Cooler, did you want me to ask him anything about adventure mode? Because you specifically asked that earlier, and they never sent me any questions. And I don't think you submitted any. If you did, you didn't use your name, so I don't know if you submitted any. Oh, so! Look at that. Hold up, sending dwarves to loincloths rehab. I mean, once you wear tighty whities, you just can't go back, am I right? I did send you a reminder, but I think your response was, I'm melting, so. Fire them into my DMs. I'll see if I can squish them in. I've more or less finalized my document, but I can cram a few more in there because I only have 2 questions about adventure mode right now, so and both of them are pretty short. Don't kill elves so you don't get their underwear. Yep. Yep, that's true. That's a quote for the books, I think. Quote 338. Ironically, that is also about DM. Kind of wish I could arrest children. I had a child that was tantruming. I'm assuming you got it, Stone? Piggy! He's gonna go live in the piggy stall up here. With my peahen. About what? If you could arrest children? I mean, I know for a fact that there's a fix coming for that. The issue that I have with that is getting fixed by adding in adoption and a few other things. But that's coming soon. So. I mean, I could ask Tarn about that. But the thing that, like, you don't realize is I have 48 questions right now in my outline. And the last time I spoke with him, we did about 20. So it's either going to be a 3-hour interview or I'm not going to get through all the questions. And I think the answer is pretty obvious. They're discussing rainfall. Why is it so depressing? Any of mine? The one about tattoos, yeah. That one's under fun questions. The one that I'm really looking forward to answering or asking, though, is submitted by everybody's favorite YouTuber, not me, everybody's other favorite YouTuber, which is, are you taking care of yourself? Staying hydrated? Stretching your legs from time to time? Played any good games lately? And what's your favorite dinosaur? Obviously a 3-hour obviously a 3-hour interview. Probably not going to get to all the questions realistically. I try and take less than an hour and a half of his time, so see if we can do that. Maybe I'll see if I can push it. Let's go for hour 40. I mean, let's be honest. Would anybody care if it was a 3-hour chat? Would anybody here actually care? I think everybody here would just like that. That would be like the ideal outcome, in fact. For what it's worth, you're voting for a 3-hour interview. They said it was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. The more time that we can get, the merrier. I mean, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not trying to abuse his time. It went 5 minutes overtime? What went 5 minutes overtime? Wave depletion? Welcome back. More blind to drown out your tinnitus. Oh, you too, eh? I have really mild tinnitus. really mild. There we go. I'm pretty sure it was from one specific concert I went to, too. This is such a cool cavern lair. I'm like, look at this fucking thing. Yeah, I guess I would do it. It's like you only need to not wear ear protection once and your ears are mad at you for a very long time. Oh, hey, post liaison. Kavish has arrived. What color is your hair, Kavish? Her hair is gray with some accrue. Well, she's getting up there in age. Still pretty spry, though, I would say. I should become a getaway driver? I'd be a really bad getaway driver. And I have a very blunt reason for that. I can't legally drive. And I've driven once on a road that had no other vehicles on it and wasn't even technically a road. Actually, that's not true. I've driven twice. I drove once on a dirt road and once on my parents' driveway. Which, ironically, a gravel road. Kavish says, I'm Millennium from the Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation. There's much to share. Information's been added to your maps. Yeah, I don't think getaway driver would be an ideal career choice for me. I think streamer is probably a better career choice for me. You're honestly wondering if you should ask Tarn what his favorite food is. You love cooking, so hearing what someone is functions oriented to food, this could probably be really interesting. Might be something simple and easy. Could be a really big. Yeah, let's toss a note. Toss in a note. I'm gonna I could delete this. Should pineapple go on pizza question and replace it with what's your favorite food? I could do that. I look forward to our meeting next year. Our fortunes rise and fall together. Yeah, let's do that. Congratulations, you're getting an extra question. X-Wrench. What is your favorite food? Which goes right before, why don't dwarves need to poop? You know, the important things. What, if he says pineapple pizza? I am a pineapple pizza. There was a time in my life where that was probably my actual favorite food. There's also a, was that posted in my Discord? Hold on. Ah, this. 50% of the world's pineapples contain cocaine. Okay, now it belongs on pizza. See? Even Facebook agrees. If 50% of the world's pineapples contain cocaine, that's how you know that they belong on pizza. I will toss those in and see what I can do, Cooler. editing Cooler's question currently so that it all fits into one chunk of a doc. Eh. Cooler just sent me a pretty long question about weapons in adventure mode, so tossing that in. Like, I'll see what I can do, because, like, there's just, I've got so much that I need to do. But it's not helping much. Hey, at least you had some rain. Everything here is just brown and fucking dead, to put it bluntly. Everything is so dead and brown because there's been no rain. Like the middle portion of the Kenshi world. I mean, I didn't really think about it that way, but I guess, yeah, kinda. Should probably do another round of clothing, actually. It's been a while. Buy those battle axes. I don't need them. Yeah. I have a really hard time talking while I'm doing this. It's like the one thing that I'm really bad at while streaming is talking while typing. There we go. Requires way more hand-eye coordination than I normally have. It's like patting my head and rubbing my tummy at the same time. All right, let's do that and that. Done. Into society properly after retiring, but never got to test it much from a question correctly. Because right now, like, they have, like, you can leave an adventurer there and then it takes a year for them to petition. Yeah, I guess you can't petition for citizenship as an adventurer, right? I've only done that a couple of times. You have to, like, you can retire an adventurer in a fortress and then you have to play the fortress and wait until they petition. If I'm not mistaken. I think that's how that works. Oh, really? That's the first so? The more you know. Fascinating. But yeah, just in case anybody's curious, this is the full list of questions I've got right now. So, I've got quite a few that we need to get through. Got quite a few. Yeah, you need, like, the other half of the game mechanic to accept you. Yeah, I also don't know how you'd word that question. Problem you see is that adventurers don't seem to form any bonds after retirement or make families. They're not a part of the world naturally. Yeah, that's why they're all, because they're all asexual, right? Like they don't have any need or desire for that sort of thing. I think Tarn's mentioned something about that in the future of the Fortress posts. I want to say he literally just mentioned something about that. Need to get my punching squad up and running. Quivanir the Second, I don't know if he's here right now, withdraws from society. Was 1 year old. Runs past the giant in the cage. That's what we need. Yeah. Or what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Venturer doesn't want a love interest, otherwise how can they take an arrow to the knee? I mean, you wouldn't be able to have character creation if they were already in the world, right? I mean, I think that's accurate, right? Like, I have a hard time coming up with stuff for adventure mode and knowing what to include because I'm not the most versed in adventure mode. You know? Which is partially my own fault, but... Cooler, what do you think of that wording? Well, I got space for it, so I'll toss it in there. No. We'll leave it out then. But, you know, if you think of wording, just let me know. Clay? Is that what that is? Silty clay. Huh. What shop did you claim? I didn't actually look. Oh, Craftsdorf shop. All right. Clay, though. I don't believe we've ever had clay used in an artifact. Interesting. Curious. Another piece of clay, I think. Is that clay? Yeah, it looks like it. Incoming clay crown. I mean, we just had a wood scepter, so. Called the Beguiler of Princesses. It's a scepter that beguiles princesses. Uh-huh. It's a dildo if I ever saw one. Yeah, I guess I don't understand exactly what you're asking. Musical instrument? I hope. Actually, yeah, if it could be a musical instrument because there's certain musical instruments that require clay or, you know, materials made out of clay, right? Yeah, I mean, I think the two questions kind of go hand in hand. I do understand what you're saying, though. You are correct. Cooler that isn't really an accurate representation of what you're thinking of. Regardless, I got the one in, so. About weapons. I got too many questions already. Adding more in at last minute is kind of like... I haven't even checked the submission doc today. I think I got some more questions this morning. I mean, let's take a peek. There's this one person that's submitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 36 questions. And one of them's a spelling error correction. Since I started this stream, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more submissions. And one of them is literally just like, can you use coffee instead of Patreon? Which is like, no, because they just directly give them money on PayPal, for fuck's sake. They don't need to use coffee. The coffee's all fine and dandy, but like, they're not all duplicate questions. Some of them are completely irrelevant, though. I did include one of that person's questions, but most of them are just like... There's also some questions in there, not from that person, but there are some questions in there that are just like straight up rude. It's like, what feature are you what feature did RimWorld rip off from your game that you're the most pissed off about? Stuff like that. There's a couple like that. It's like, wait, what? I mean, like there's, I don't know. And one of my favorite ones was, we've seen like the dozens and dozens and dozens of questions that I've had of like, can you please release the game now in early access so we can test it, ? And when are you opening pre-orders? Which I'm just not even going to bother asking. Anyway, so let's see what this child grabbed. 2 pieces of black bronze, 3 pieces of silty clay, birch logs, unicorn bone, and black bronze. So a bunch of black bronze, a bunch of clay, birch logs, and unicorn bone. I like this child's tastes. What feature that you're the most fond about inspiring to be added to? Yeah, no, pretty much. I mean, there was although there was one person who commented on the question submission video where they were just like, I would spend $60 to play Dwarf Fortress right now. And I'm like, yo, go download the game and then give them the $60. You can do both those things. Is this the pre-interview stream? So I'm just doing my normal stream stuff. Like, this is just my normal stream time. Interview happens in an hour. So, yes. I guess. Because I'm not going to change my normal stream schedule. So, we have an hour. Tarn joins me. Although last time he joined like 10 minutes early, so we'll see. I'll probably do a Reddit post in about 30 minutes. Which I'll delete after the stream's not live anymore. And then after we're done, I will take the stream offline, highlight it. If you want to watch the VOD on Twitch, you can. It's the final countdown. And then after that, I will be up until late o'clock at night tonight editing. Nope, it'll be on this stream. I'm not going to end my stream or anything silly. Why would I end my stream? I'm a professional, I'll have you know. Yeah, no, it'll be on this stream. I'll turn all my alerts and sound commands off so my subs can't troll people. And then we'll have a chat. We'll be right here. Yeah, just lurk. Unmute the stream in an hour, do what you want to do. Or you could go watch the last one that I did with Tarn.
Are you man enough for all this fucking tea?
Yes, I am man enough for all this fucking... You have no idea how much fucking tea I've made in the last 10 days. I've been drying licorice leaf and mint like fucking crazy and harvesting my chamomile. It's been great. Quiveneer, the Dwarven Child, has created Taramad Moses Fushur, a unicorn-born figurine of Mistum Stokedarrow, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Eutherus Workticked. A day doesn't go by where a dwarf doesn't dedicate something to Eutherus. It's worth 54,000. Phaetren, the Tragedy of Cleansing. This is a unicorn-born figurine of Mistum Stoked Arrow. All craft worship is of the highest quality. On the item is an image of a masterfully designed. On the item is a masterfully designed image of Mistum Stoked Arrow, the dwarf and dwarves in unicorn bone. Quevenir II, by Quevenir II. Mistum is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the appointment of the dwarf Mistum Stoked Arrow to the position of Outpost Liaison of the Ignited Creation in the early spring of year 6. On the item is an image. It is encrusted with silty clay and studded with black bronze, and encircled with bands of silty clay and black bronze. On the item, this object menaces with spikes of unicorn bone, silty clay, birch, and black bronze. All right, sure. I will put it over here. On this display case. Assuming I can find it. A little bit disappointed it's just a figurine. I was hoping for an instrument, but, you know, here we are. Did I already go past it? Maybe I already went past it. Help, we have too many artifacts in this fort. There it is. I did go past it. Also, Adra, it's good to see you. The universe resets before the interview. Man, no pressure. Wave depletion, just no pressure, you know? Just no pressure. Someone making a noise. I mean, what, during the interview? I would completely ignore it if they did, but figure out what I'm reading. Steak bars are tin blocks filled with meat. Delicious bananas sold outside hell. Quack says sup. No. Naval ships sailing in sweet potatoes. Our aerial birds artifacts can't be grounded. Animated adventurers of Eridos canceled. Goblins gravitate towards snacks. There we go. Funsies. Magical. There go the dwarves. And we're making some magical trousers. I mean, not magical, but very nice trousers. Go see if sleep will be kind to you tonight. Have a lovely stream. And if sleep isn't kind to you, then you wake up to a Tarn Adams interview. Regardless, you go get some sleep. Have a good night. Oh, it's a Pokemon? Ah. I mean, generally when I hear a random thing that ends with Dos or Mon, I assume it's a Pokemon. Or a Digimon. Hello from Switch 7. Hello from Canada. I wonder if there's anybody else in Switzerland in the chat right now. Odds are pretty good there's someone. Switzerland's a pretty country, from what I've seen pictures of. Never been. Never been even on that side of the world. It's gotta be pretty late for you, though. Yeah, I feel bad whenever I do these chats with Tarn, because for everybody in Europe, it's like, screw off o'clock in the morning. It's just not nice. You don't really want to be up that late, but it's 10 for you. It's still pretty late. It's 23:01. That's pretty late. That's pretty late to stay up on a Thursday, but yeah, but Stone, you don't sleep at normal people hours. It's just like I don't tell Bellinair to go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning his time because he doesn't sleep at normal people hours. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I guess if you're just on vacation, then hell yeah. Hell yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like, I haven't had a vacation, like a proper, like, summer vacation in, like, I guess since high school. Cause I used to, back when I had a normie job, a normal people job, I used to take vacation time around Christmas in the winter, or like in October. And now that I have this job, I don't really take vacation time. No, this is completely vanilla. I'm assuming you're talking about, like, Legends Viewer? A working day tomorrow. VOD will go up tomorrow. Well, actually, the VOD will be premiering right now, this time tomorrow. So, keep an eye on the YouTube channel tomorrow, Nosferatu. $9 a.m.? Like, Australia? Region? Like to watch and listen to streams while you work? I used to do that a lot when I worked nights. Yeah, no, I don't have Legends Viewer. But, New Zealand? Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, good morning, I guess. That's not too bad. Late afternoon. It's like beer o'clock in the afternoon. That's me outside, high out of my mind, o'clock in the afternoon, because I'm in Canada, so. Well, not quite out of my mind, but. Definitely hanging out outside with my neighbors, though. I've started hanging out with my neighbors this summer because nobody goes out here anymore because pandemic. So we all hang out outside behind the apartment building. There's like 5 of us that are usually out there by around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. We stand a relatively safe distance apart and just chat. Although I think we're all vaccinated now, so it doesn't really matter all that much anyway. And you have a described book. I mean, that's not quite how Legends Viewer works. But, I mean, I can just do that and look at books that my dwarves have written. I mean, Legends is like that, but again, it's not quite as simple as Control-C, Control-V, and then you have a described book. But I know DF Hack lets you look at Legends from within Fortress mode, but it crashes your game like 80% of the time, so I don't know. I play completely vanilla, so. And we've kept this fortress, well, here. If you want to see the stupidity of this fort, have a peek at that playlist. We are on year 272, which means this fortress is 267 years old. Also, investments are open for those of you who care. Lucario, have you ever had a peek at the game Caves of Cud? Because it has proc-gen novels, so generative text that reads in English but is also absolute word salad. It's the greatest thing ever to just sit there and read. Those books. So much fun. And then every now and again, you'll find one that's like actually just a handwritten book, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, cool. How many years? 267 years old is this fortress. 267. We are on generation like 8 of dwarves. Over 9,000 dead on the map. How long in real life? 10 months. I've been playing this fort. We are building a glass tube to the center of the earth slowly. But I uploaded the first VODs, probably actually 11 months ago now. Actually, I need to go look at the actual upload date, but why? Because I'm trying to keep a fortress alive for 1,000 years. I stream full time. Got to have some sort of goal, thing to do. Keeps things interesting. No, not 4 to 5 years. I could pick up the pace and get it done in 3 months. I've done the math on the number of hours I would need to run, so I could... I've been dragging my heels. I mean, why do you play a video game ever? Period. Why is that Minecraft guy making Farlands or bust? Because he wants to. It's that simple. I've already made the sickest castle. Is that right? Or have I screwed that up? It should be one bigger. Alright, so I have screwed this up. No, this isn't the only thing I'm doing. But no, if I sat down and played this fort 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, I could probably get this done in 3 months. Which I will do at some point. We'll get there. Keep this fortress interesting. The current little project is building a tube of glass to hell. Well, not necessarily to hell. It will eventually go to hell. That's the current little project. The little project before that was this, which is my floating tavern, which is suspended above the fortress. Before that, I dug a giant pit, which took me like 100 years, filled it up with housing. That big old statue hallway there. The project before that was that statue forest. The project before that was this little maze. So, you know, we're working from project to project, but a lot of it is just keeping dwarves alive. And, you know, I've got chat that keeps me company, so. It's kind of just like, it's like a Dwarf Fortress soap opera. It is a little maze. I could very easily make it like 5 times the size. Very easily. I mean, Arch Crystal was 500 years, and Arch Crystal took 6 years to get done, real time. And I'm not going to take that long. We'll hit 500 years by the end of this year, easily. So, I think tops, if I keep up at this pace, it'll take me 3 years to get it done. But, see you later, Lucario. It's Longdeath, you know? And the faction is called the well, the local government is called the Eternal Adventure of Time. And the world is called the Absolute Realm. I didn't make that. The game generated that. So, frankly, the eternal adventure of time of the absolute realm has to be a long run. But generally, the reason I'm doing this is to prove to people that frame rate death is not inevitable, and yes, you can avoid it. That is the main reason I'm doing this. Because I'm so bloody tired of having people tell me that, oh, you know, your fort gets 30 years in and you hit frame rate death and... It's not true. It's factually incorrect. This continent is called the Infinite Continent. I also didn't make that up. And the world is called the Absolute Realm. And the only dwarves that really have mental problems are the temporary workers, so it's fine. They're expendable. Besides, you know, I'm a full-time streamer and creator on the internet, so I gotta have something to do. What does cause frame rate death? Player error in most cases. But it's such a consistent meme that people assume that it's not player error and they assume that it's the game's error. And I think out of the 200 some odd, or sorry, out of the 200 some odd questions that I deleted from my submission list because they were either repeats or rude or something that I wouldn't want to ask Tarn, I deleted 30 that were just asking about fixing frame rate death. So, and my assumption is most of them have never played the game. That's my general assumption when I get that many questions about something like that. But yeah, it's generally just like locking people in rooms. Hey, Rico. I wonder if items on the floor count. Anything that is not in a stockpile has physics. So the game's keeping track of it. If you put items in stockpiles, it actually it lowers their CPU cost. This is really confusing to me. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong with this design, so I will just simply go around it. Nope. Dumping zone is not a stockpile. Against your unarmed fighting. Bullying some poor night trolls, are we? Sounds like a good way to spend a Thursday, not gonna lie. You turn them into anime. Do I want to know? Honest question. Do I want to know? I mean, what does that have to do with turning them into an anime? Are you implying that characters in anime are weak? Because I take your anime comment and I raise you Sengoku. And I'm not even a weeb. And what do you mean by you turned them into anime? I'm just so confused by that comment. Cheers. Well, I mean, we're starting up in 45 minutes, Uncle Gus. So, plus, you know, the VOD will be on my channel right away afterwards if you get behind, or I'll be putting it up on YouTube tomorrow. Cheers. Best of luck with the meeting. There are too many boulders right there. I might actually... You know what? Garbage dump. Let's just get rid of all of these boulders. Just move them not even that far away. Just like right over there. Which means a bunch of stuff's going to suddenly get forbidden, but that's fine. There we go. So they're just going to run back and forth and clear all of these boulders out eventually. They don't need to carry them that far. Only a dozen or so steps. And then I can unforbid them. I'll just collect them from there later, but there is too many boulders in this exact spot. It's becoming a problem. Absolutely massive problem. And I'm posting my Reddit thread. Sorry if I seem kind of spacey, but nerves. You know, it's funny. It's like I've been on the front page of Twitch many times and had hundreds of thousands of eyeballs on my stream in like 2 hours before. This makes me more nervous than that. All assassin units are peasants with weapon. Reminds me when you're playing Rome Barbarian Invasion. What even is Rome Barbarian Invasion? You done with work for the day, Squug? I wonder how long it's going to take them to clear that out. Oh, geez. Totally forgot to assemble ballista arrows. For the king. It's too busy with this. Faint from bleeding, and he only... You're lucky he had blood? The least efficient way. That sounds like a Steam achievement if I ever heard one. That's actually something about the Steam version that I'm very excited for, is just achievements. I feel like achievement hunting in DF will be a blast. Yep, this is true. It's because they become faint and weak due to massive amounts of blood loss. Yeah, and then you can just grab them by the ear and whip them around, yeah. Yeah. I'm out of coffee. And I'm out of my main thing of coffee. It might be time to go get my cold brew, because I made cold brew last night. I think I'm gonna go get my cold brew. In a minute. Have a fort last 10 years while AFK? I don't know. I have a feeling that won't be the sort of achievements they had, but who knows? Maybe you have a fort last 10 years. Maybe not while AFK. That seems a bit silly, but... Uh-oh. Someone's probably going to prison. Yep. Side Scoop's going to prison. Actually, that's a good thing. That Side Scoop's going to prison. Because Side Scoop, I think, is clinically depressed right now. I mean, somebody had to take the fall for the king's anger. And if you edit some INI files so the game doesn't auto-pause every 6 months. But yes, fort can run itself. I could automate this fort to run automatically, but I'm not, because it goes against the whole point of... We'll lose socks eventually? No, you won't. Just to have condition orders. It's not hard. That's not... No? What? Okay. But yeah, no, you can, using if-then statements here under conditions, you can automate everything. You can even automate what stockpiles things come from, what dwarves do, what task, make sure they all get done. I just can't be asked. Wait, what? Oh, I see. I was confused for a second. I was like, what fucking squad are you in? Because I thought that squad was already training. I forgot my cold brew? No, I did not. Just want to see a few things play out first. I just want to see what this dwarf thinks of prison. Then I'm going to go get my cold brew. To increase players' discipline like some players do. No. Because I don't find that to be a fun storytelling mechanic. I play Dwarf Fortress like playing D&D by myself. I enjoy watching the little stories play out, and I wouldn't do a thing that I would consider to be like intentionally harmful to my dwarves unless I'm playing an evil fort. Have I done that particular thing in an evil fort? No. Have I done other things that are evil in evil forts? Yes. Have I done that? No. Also because like managing stress in DF is exceptionally easy, especially in the most recent version. So maybe your goal of the game is to suffer PTSD, but my goal of the game is to tell the most interesting story possible by just enjoying witnessing dwarves. So it's a single player game, and you're allowed to set whatever goals or desires you want for yourself as the player. And if your goal is to, well, torture your dwarves, by all means, have fun. That's not how I play Dwarf Fortress, though. You know, I think that this trip to prison is actually going to help this dwarf. It's a good thing we didn't complete that job for the king. Speaking of, do you want more stuff? No, you're good. All right, I'm going to go get my cold brew. I'll be back in a couple minutes. They're not hauling those all the way up, are they? They better not be. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Yep, indeed. About 30 minutes until chit chat with Tarn. Also, Stone already answered the question, Rico, but I think that you need to give me a little bit more credit. It's very clear that you are assuming that I have no idea what I'm doing. Trust me, I'm an engineer. That's all I have to say to you. Because trust me, I'm an engineer. What the fuck just happened here? Yay! The dwarves are actually clearing those fucking boulders out. No, I can't. But that was also a year ago. So. Yeah, you're the one who's saying XD in, you know, while he's AFK, Fort gets invaded. Which is extremely polite and nice of you to say. Doesn't make you seem like an 11-year-old at all. And we have one actual rule in this channel, which is this one. Act like an adult and be treated as such. Act like a child and frankly vamos. Those are your options. So enjoy the stream or don't. The choice is yours. It's a very simple rule last I checked. Also, hey Dragona, what's up? It's good to see you. Hope you've been well. Whenever I see you in my chat, it reminds me that I need to play more puzzle games. Because I go in like spats where I play a lot of puzzle games and then I take a break from puzzle games. Man, I hate being signed into Twitter. Hey, Tapioca, it has been ages. I'm doing all right. How you been? Hope life's been treating you all right. Hope the weather's been okay. Hope it hasn't been too hot. Tapioca, of course, the legendary Baroness. I think it was a Baroness. It was a long time ago. Got their leg ripped off by a child named Morden in this fortress. The first royalty in Longdeath. Feels like it was so long ago. A troll is fighting with what? Oh, the ground. Okay. Because you were here a lot when I played through The Witness. That's how. And because I see you in Twinge's chat, and I associate Twinge with puzzles. Which I think is a fair association. The biggest tornado in recent history. Man, you guys get the fun weather. We just got hotter weather than ever before. Fear for our legs. Yeah, the children with axes are strictly considered to be illegal. Gleno. Strictly considered to be illegal. How are you? And check this and check that. I like that there's just silver nuggets in the middle of that too. It was a black swan. That's spooky. Laid waste to a few small towns? Jeez. Now I'm like weirded out. How have I not heard about that on the news? Dwarf hype. What's up, Lump? It's good to see you. 25 means ish. Before you get distracted. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's been me with lunch a lot recently. Yeah, why is everybody dying right now, Adra? I don't like it. I don't. Literally, like, everybody's dying again. It's like that time of year. Well, they're paying me for the right to do that. So, you know. Yeah, I just looked it up. Was not that old. It's just like the drummer of Hum passed away. He was like 51. How's the fort doing? We're in year 272. Means the fortress is 267 years old. Working our way. One day at a time. We'll get there eventually. I'm gonna remove dump from all these. Wall this off. We'll do this way. But fortress is coming along pretty nice. Whoopsies. Another child just got possessed. We are digging a tube down to lava, which is currently doing this, which is doing pretty well, I think. I'm just trying to dodge this very, very, very deep cavern layer. Yeah, guitarist of Cinderella, I think. It might have been bassist of Cinderella. Everybody is a massive swath of people, and hate is a very strong word. What about people who play bards? I know several people who like to play bards. I mean, everybody hates Sir Robin's bards, but that's a very specific character in a movie. So I don't think everybody who plays role-play games hates bards. Yeah, I've listened to quite a bit of Cinderella back in the day. I don't know, man. I understand a thing called Kender. It's pretty universally hated in D&D. I don't even know what that is, because I don't play D&D. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been bothered by celebrity deaths before, and even like the ones that like have mattered a lot to me recently don't really bother me, but change the fact that it really fucking sucks. It's just kind of a bummer. It's mostly kind of a bummer because it's like, man, now I'll never get to see them live. God damn it. So, like a gnome? Basically? That's how I imagine gnomes to be. Yeah, exactly, Adriel. That's all it is. It's just kind of a bummer. Yet somehow Axl Rose is still alive. No idea how, but somehow he's still alive. I'm just kind of impressed on that one. All right. I think it's that time. I'm going to shut off all my notifications. We're going to start prepping. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, you want it to pop up on the stream, you got to do it now. Although there's only been one subscription all day today, so. Kind of doubt it. All right. You met Axl Rose once? Really? Why?
Cheese for everyone!
Yeah, I'm doing those last. So you can still cheese for everyone for a minute. Okay. Bits. Donos and subs are now all silented. And now, so is the bot. Sorry, bot. You've been muted. Well, I mean, you did select, what, 55,742 different questions? Some of which I would consider to be actually extremely rude. I don't know. It's up to you. Well, you'll find out. Yep. In 19 minutes. Tapioca. So you landed here on a good day. It's unexpected. There was an announcement video last week. So, I mean, unexpected, but perhaps you're just out of the loop. I don't know. I'm not really titling them as interviews anymore. They're more just like, just chatting. Just hanging out and talking with viewer questions. He went to high school with a guy who's best friend of a friend who kept bragging that Axl Rose was his cousin. No one believed him, and then Axl picked him up from school when he was in town for a family reunion. Wow. Okay. Touche. Jesus, that's funny. That is actually really funny. The world is basically your Spanish Inquisition. I mean, I would expect this to be a more pleasant surprise than the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, I think maybe the closest thing I have to something like that is I know a guy who went to high school with the vocalist of Nickelback and stole his girlfriend at one point because he was a dude with a trades job and, well, Chad was just some asshole in a band. Positional notation. Okay, I don't know what that means, but good luck, dwarves. Discuss it. Discuss away. It's a really unpleasant one, like an impromptu comfy chair. Wait, an impromptu comfy chair is unpleasant? At what point does a comfy chair become unpleasant? Oh, also, you guys get to be on screen during the chit-chat. If you didn't know that, you get to be on screen. Also, B-Lug, I don't know if you're lurking, but I might need mod help. If B-Lug doesn't wake up in the next, like, I don't know, 5 minutes, I might just mod Clino. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm just going to do that. Clino, you're getting a promotion for today. Oh, Audio's here, too. Cool, that helps. Quino's still getting a promotion for today. Unless, actually, no. No, now that we have audio. We're good. It's just I need, like, one active mod during these days. So this is, like, the only time I actually need mods. Sense of power rises. It's okay, I'll remove the sword afterwards if you don't want it. Otherwise, you can just keep it. I don't really care. I trust you, Clino. I mean, you already, what? Mod every single DF thing on Earth, so, eh. Bastet! The dwarven child has created Eudos Nam. Correct. A unicorn bone spear. Ooh. And claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Lorbam Wind Mansions. No idea who that is, but, cool. This is a unicorn bone spear. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is studded with black bronze and decorated with unicorn leather, and encircled with bands of unicorn bone and table-cut black zircons, and round, nice cabochons. On the item is an image of Vubok, pack syrup, the dwarf, and dwarves in Willow. Vubok pack syrup is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Vubok pack syrup to the position of Baron, the ignited creation in the early spring of 119. On the item is an image of 2 giant desert tortoises in almandine. On the item is an image of 2 coins in unicorn leather. What is the name of that? The Man Purity of Thorns. Okay. I mean, it is a spear. But you can't buy swords. I mean, Twitch is not a sword store, okay? Twitch is a place to watch streams. That's actually a pretty awesome spear. Need to restart computer? Yeah, that's really something that should be done, if it need be done. Need to find this spear. I may have gone past it already. I don't think I did, though. That or they're trying to pick it up. Ha! Got it. All right. Time to save Longdeath. Tis that time, friends. It's time to set up. Anything with reach is good at anything with a long neck. They're also the best against flying creatures, unless you well, the best against flying creatures outside of the, you know, ranged weapons. All right. I need to restart a more current version of the game because I'm going to generate a world in the background. The Steam Deck? Can I just say that that is the worst name they could possibly have called it? Because the Stream Deck exists? Like, I guess nobody went and Googled Steam Deck. Like, I don't know. It's just so silly. All right. I'm gonna go do something off stream real quick, and then hopefully we'll be able to get started. Although it's gonna get kind of quiet in here because I'm gonna shut off the ambient sounds in the background. I've been given the 5-minute notice, so BRB momentarily.